Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Meat here. We're going to continue our quest to beat Pathfinder Kingmaker. If you recall from our last episode, we had found our second cup piece, and now we're looking for, I'm assuming, the last fragment. Looks like the last area. Now, I don't know that this is the last area officially. We have an entire castle or our keep or whatever to get into, maybe. But it looks like we have a barrier separating us from it. And again, the last couple stop that barrier. For those of you who have played this game before know that I'm using the PC version. Of course, I'm using mods. This is something that is not available to those that are using this on the console, which is yet to be released, but just to give you a heads up on that. Some of the things that you'll see here are turn-based combat. That's something that they insist that they're going to make for both the PC and the console version of the game, but they have yet to do so, so a modder made it, and I'm using that. Also, Eldritch Arcana is another fine one that you can get. You can get all these mods for the PC on the Nexus. So just go to Google, Nexus, and Pathfinder, and you'll find a laundry list of ones. Let's get back into it, though, shall we? And the reason that Eldritch Arcana is worth mentioning is that there are some spells that I have that you will not have with the vanilla version of the game. Some other stuff that's available to me, but not you, including things like traits. This is a way for me to actually make, for example, an undead character, which I've made as a mercenary. So if you see that, that's why I can do that, and you probably can't. I'm very happy with the fact that the modding community exists for this game. There's a lot of really good mods out there. One of the more common ones that people use besides Eldritch Arcana is something called Call of the Wild. Sadly, they are not compatible. I'm not really sure what that's about, but I'm not a modder, so I don't know. And it's not likely that they're ever going to be compatible. So if you want one, chances are you're using one, not the other. Having said that, I'm happy with Eldritch Arcana because it gives me things like my undead character. An undead character here has no con stat. So when I made her at level 1, I made her undead immediately at level 1 and floored the con stat to like 5. Why? Because I know it was going to go to nothing. The reason that you want it as low as possible is so you can reclaim those points and use it for other things. It's a point-by system. So we had a higher charisma than normal. Charisma is actually what they base their HP off of, as well as their fortitude stat. So if you see here it says other +3 undead creature, that's because her base charisma is 16. That's a +3. The HP is based on the +7 here. Okay, so if you want more HP, jack that charisma through the goddamn roof. Sadly, fortitude will only go as high, as far as bonus is concerned, will only go as high as the base charisma. So invest your points in it. Don't rely on magical gear and spells to buff it, because it will not do you any good as far as this is concerned. But if I were to do this again, I'd probably make an Eldritch Scion undead bloodline, just because thematically it makes sense, and make them undead. And the reason for that is if you do an Eldritch Scion or a Sorcerer, I suppose it would work too. They can also have an undead bloodline. If you did that and made them an undead character, you could floor their con stat like I've done at level 1 and maximize their charisma because it's their casting stat. This is a good way for you to make sure you have a main character who has Boku HP and a really good fortitude check besides. That's a pretty solid character. And because they're undead, they also get some bonuses and minuses for being undead, like immune to poisons and all kinds of other cool stuff, but also susceptible to things that you wouldn't necessarily think about. But let's get into the game, shall we? Now, we are here. We've talked to the storyteller already, not down here, but upstairs, where we gave him the piece. Looks like there's going to be a barrier here, so it looks like we can go all the way up this way, all the way over here. There's possibly a down spot here, going all around here. So we're going to check it out kind of clockwise, I suppose. We'll stay away from the barrier because there's really no point. And we're not going to come back, even if we find the cup, say up here, because I don't know where it's at. If we find the cup, we're not immediately coming back. We're literally going to clear the area, because why not? And I have two characters that are not quite 20. Just to show you that, I have my main character, Dorraj, my sword saint, lawful good, level 20. Notice he's got decent XP. Notice that these guys are real close to Dingin Man, and this is our mercenaries, Eliza and Protolich. And there's a little bit of backstory. If you ever watched the first video of this playthrough, you'll see it. Eliza was recently introduced into the Monster Tacticians Inquisitor line, basically like kind of like a combat cleric, so to speak. They're not quite as powerful as a cleric, but they have a lot of good spells and a lot of good training. She has the ability to summon monsters as well, hence the name Monster Tactician, so she's a subclass. And we did a little monk dip with her, so she can really have a high armor class thanks to that high wisdom bonus for her. So a solid character. She's our main tank, and Doris right up there with her now, thank God. But it's only because of his sword saint ability to use his intelligence modifier for armor, because he doesn't get to wear armor. And as such, this plus 13, because he's at least 13 levels of sword saint, he's actually 20. Whichever is the lowest of these two stats, the level of Sword Saint or the level of your intelligence bonus, is how much dodge armor class that you get in canny defense. You see that there, the plus 13. So we've capped that out. And I think this is only could go maybe, I think I did the math on this the other day. I think if I double dip, which means I didn't go purist for Sword Saint, like I did like a level dip or 2 level dip into like Alchemist or Vivisectionist, which is a subclass of Alchemist, I could get the Cognitigen. That's a plus 4 to your intelligence. This could be a plus 15. Excuse me, had a little sneeze there. This could be a plus 15, best case scenario, I think, for me. And there's maybe 1 or 2 other things that I could wear, but I would have had to made an evil character to do it. And I could have been up to like a 16, maybe a 17. And I think that's about it. So we're pretty capped out is my point for armor. The better build, because this is a strength-based build, the better build would have been to do like most people do for a Sword Saint and go Dex and Intelligence being their main stats. Because of the Dexterity modifier, as you can see down here as well, we actually have a Dexterity bonus. And it's plus 7, but again, if I would have went Dex instead of Strength, you would have seen that I could have gotten that to, say, a plus 9. So again, it would have been more armor. But I still feel pretty good about this. And again, I swing with a solid weapon and longsword. Matter of fact, I dual wield. So I actually do pretty good for myself. Now we have all kinds of peeps out here. Looks like we got the whole damn squad. This is probably the way that you know that it's time for something bad to happen. Wow, we got like Maker Varn. We even got a little Lizard Buddy K-Guard here. The mites and the guards are all here. We have rested up on that score. We should probably buff up. And I never do this properly, so let's actually do it right this time. So here's the Extend Metamagic Rod that this character has, for instance. Okay, so I have Rod of Flaming Vengeance. That's for maximized spells, and all my spells do flame damage because of this rod, just having it in my possession. This one here allows me to double the duration of spells. So for instance, if I cast Shield Spell on myself, it lasts twice as long. Instead of 20 minutes, it's now 40, well in this case 42. And that's because of that other rod. I actually have a bonus to my caster level for a variety of my spells because of some of the things that I have on my character. But again, I can do the same with, say, a Blur. And again, that's solid buffs for my character. I can do Overland Flight, but there's really no need to extend that because, again, the wings are long-lasting, many hours. You see I still have the last casting of it. Managed to take a knee, which means like rest for like 8 hours, and I still have them on me. But now this one here only lasts a minute, and she's the one that usually benefits from this one. So again, I turn that Metamagic Rod on and give her these wings called Fly, and in this case I'll give her the Angel Wings just because I like the look. Boom. And now she has that looks like another set of wings, but I guess that's her weapons. But now she has wings, and again, they last for a decent amount of time, so I've used up that Metamagic Rod. Other stuff that I'll do for my main character here, like I'll do True Seeing on myself, because I want to make sure I can see everything that I'm swinging at. Do it like that. Okay. Transformation, we'll save that for later. Now, her turn. Oh, I almost forgot. I always do this. I want to make sure my weapon is keen, that it's a speed weapon. Actually, you know what? I have changed my mind on that. I'm not going to make it a speed weapon. I'm going to tell you why. We are really going to use our hasten spells for good effect. Haste is an amazing spell. It does not stack with a speed weapon as far as the extra attack in a combat round. But I never use them. But I have the spells. I only have many of my teammates have this spell and have it ready to be used. We just never do it. So it's my fault. So what does that mean? Well, I don't need to use the speed bonus to my weapon here. It's something that a Magus can do, is upgrade their weapon for short periods of time. Well, what can I do in place of that? Well, that's 3 points being wasted. So let's give those 3 points into something else. Let's make it a Flaming Frost Shocking Weapon of Bane that's keen. And I know that sounds like it's crazy, because it definitely is. But I'm also Enduring Blade. The reason I did that was because Enduring Blade increases the duration of the buff equal to your caster level in minutes. So instead of it being a 1 minute buff, which is what the typical buff is, I've made it 20 minutes because I'm a level 20 Magus. So if you look at your character and look at the weapon, it only is for the main weapon. Excuse me. Goodness. Frog in my throat. You see I have a Holy Flaming Enhancement +5 Destructive Keen Bane Temporary Frost Shock weapon. That's what I'm talking about. So I have fire damage, cold damage, electric damage, and because it's a Bane weapon, it'll do force damage plus 2d6 of that. And instead of being a +5 upgrade, which is what the weapon normally is, it's going to be a +7 upgrade because it's a Bane weapon. So another +2 added on top of that. And it's holy, so if I fight anything that's evil, I think, it does another 2d6 of damage. Basically, I'm just a motor scooter that's just going to shred through some stuff. Pretty fun. From here, let's get her, get my Arcane Strike back on. That's another reason why I want to do that. Now, she doesn't need Shield of Faith anymore. We found that out the other day. Everybody has their magical vestments on, as you can see, here, and even she's got hers. So we don't need to waste spell buffs on that. Let's give her Weapon of Awe. It'll increase her weapon damage. Not overly so, but it's a solid buff. Sadly, it doesn't show up on here as a buff. This is a new spell. But again, definitely useful. Since we're in the area with electricity zapping all around us, I think I may just buff this up for electricity protection. And I'll have Jubilots buff us for, say, fire protection, just to have that on there. Now, Death Ward, on the other hand, has been an amazing buff for me and my front line. And the reason we do that is because, again, it's a solid protection from negative energy effects, energy drain, stuff of that nature. We really get a bonus for fighting against death effect spells. So spells that are like save or suck, like you will straight up die if you do fail this check, should be a death spell, and as such we get a +4 bonus to our saves as far as that's concerned. So that's something. Now that's something that I believe our undead is actually immune to, so we don't buff her with that, and if that's true, then we're fine there. However, spell resistance is a solid buff, and while we both have, let me show it to you, Ring of Ultimate Protection, you see we have a spell resistance of 24. This spell itself gives us 12 plus her caster level, which is 19, so that's 20, it's just shy of 32, so 31. So it's way better to have her cast this on us. Okay, and again, one on both the main front characters. I could even put it on her, matter of fact, because why the hell not? Nice. Now, she's going to buff up with the next shield spell. She has magic rods of her own. Like this one here that does extend. We want to actually activate some of that. Well, let's get the blur on her. Notice that she has blur on her all the time because of a ring. It's a permanent buff because she has a blur continuous effect ring on. So we don't need to put that on her, but we put it on this character. Heroism. I don't need the Meta Magic Rod for this because this one lasts for like hours. Let's cast that on... Hell, she's got it right now for 3 hours and 5 minutes on herself. Let's cast this on Dora. Just so I have a better swing. And then later on, we'll activate that Meta Magic Rod and do things like Sense Vitals and Greater Invis. They don't last very long. Maximum would be like, well, let's say 2 minutes. So let's see, 20 rounds, 6 seconds a round, so 120 minutes. Yeah, 120 seconds, excuse me, so 2 minutes. But if we extend it, that's 4. And that may not be enough to cover this whole map, but it may be enough to cover a half of it. And that's, again, something that we benefit from. So again, the extended Meta Magic Rods are very useful, in my opinion. Jubilost, he has the beautiful ability to cast spells on himself and anyone else as an alchemist, a special type of alchemist, no less. So he can give a shield spell, which is normally a personal effect, to someone else, like, say, a cleric or an inquisitor, in this case. So a solid buff. And he can cast blur on himself as well. Expeditious Retreat on himself. And the cleric, because I want to make sure those guys are fast. See Invis for the whole team. He's going to protect us from fire, because I feel like that might be a problem. He has his own heroism for himself. Now the best part, freedom of movement for himself. There we are, and he's going to do the same for... She still has 5 minutes on hers, so we don't need to rebuff up with those. But he'll take a death ward for himself. Alright, that's probably good enough. She has her airwalk again for 5 minutes or so, so does he. So we have time to piddle around a little bit like that. He can buff us up with, well, freedom of movement for himself. He's still got that on, so we'll just leave it for now. Get a death ward on yourself, though, buddy. Do you have a mismanagement rod for extend? That's persistent, that's intensified, so no. It's okay. And I think he does still need the Shield of Faith. If not, it's not that big of a wasted. We're going to do a bless spell for the team, as well as Fear, which is a buff to our Fear saves for 10 minutes. I'm going to even give a death ward to her. She likes to die on us, which is a bad idea. She does have free movement still, so only for 2 minutes though. So let's actually use this one on her. Refresh it basically, and that'll give it for many hours. She's going to grab a shield spell for herself. And heroism for, I already have it. Let's give it to her. Greater heroism for herself. First though, we got greater extend, quicken, intensify, lesser quicken. Time to extend that shit. And the reason we did that is because, again, I don't want it to be a problem, so we have a solid buff for a very long time. A greater heroism only lasts for 1 minute per caster level, which for her would be 19, I want to say, because she's a 1 level rogue. So doubling the duration, turn it from 19 into 38 minutes. And that's more than enough, I think, for this area. Now, of course, we'll take a knee once we get the last cup piece and take it back and get ready for the last boss fight. I'm not a complete idiot, but I'd rather have, I'd rather have them completely protected and fully buffed, you know, to the nines, so to speak. So we have, the only person that doesn't really have a solid buff on him is this one. I'm going to give this one to Tristan. It's a +4 to his swing, which he could definitely use since he pretty much sucks at hitting targets. But with that, I think we're about ready to rock and roll, guys. So let's move into it, shall we? 17 minutes of buff, I know, right? But feel good about it.
I'm there. We'll do it the hard way.
God, I got sniffles today. I must have went outside and got my allergies all flared up. Alright, Dorraj. Because of the turn-based combat, notice that a couple things are going to happen. Not only do the initiative check, this happens in the game for you guys normally too with your real time to pause. However, most people just drag the whole party, click a guy, kill it, drag it, click the next guy, drag it, click the next guy, and it's just kill this guy, kill this guy, kill this guy. A lot of these fights go extremely fast. If you want to have a more D&D feel to it, or Pathfinder, which is what the game's based on, it's still D&D, then you really want turn-based combat, because again, it really allows you to micromanage the fight like you're doing it in pen and paper style. So in my case, I have my turn first, and it's the first combat round. See right here it says round 1 start. Now there could be a surprise round, and if it was a surprise round, you'd know it, because either A, you wouldn't be included in it, because sometimes you won't be, they can surprise you too. Sometimes though you'll see it where you surprise them and you'll see you have a pip here, but not the middle one. That's the sweet spot. So you can either move and attack, or in this case I can attack, move, and have a swift action. That's what all 3 pips are for. So if you see one of the pips already missing, it's the surprise round. Okay, and you'll see the exclamation points around these guys. So that's your way of letting them know that they are susceptible to sneak attack. Notice Pro Lich is not. This is pretty awesome. So we got these 2 doofuses, or 3 doofuses over here, and they're pretty tough. If you want to inspect a bad guy, that's this little button here. Highlight it like that, and right click with your mouse. It even tells you a little icon. And you can scroll down. If you've inspected these guys or fought them in the past, it gives you information on them. The more you fight them, the more you know. It looks like we've unlocked everything on these guys. We know everything about them. So they're neutral evil, which is perfect for me with my holy weapon. They have freedom of movement, which is bad for me because that means that they're not going to be able to be tied up with like web spells, grease spells, or paralysis spells, and hold person, hold monster type stuff. So that's good information though. They hit hard because of their power attack is on. They are Fey, neutral evil. They have a decent initiative. They have really good strength, dex, con. I mean, across the board as the end fights. It's not something tough. I mean, hell, look at them. They got 10 more hit points than I do. No, we got the numbers advantage. 6 against 3. We're doing fine. But notice the important stuff here too. How hard is it to hit these guys? Well, he's flat-footed right now. That's the surprise part. We caught them off guard. So any of these guys with the exclamation point on them are flat-footed. So if I'm swinging my normal weapon on them, I'm going to hit them with an armor of 25 instead of the 34. Much easier for us to start the attacks proper. If it was a touch attack, a ray spell, a melee touch attack, or anything similar, their touch armor is complete piss. And it'd be even worse than that, because again, they would be flat-footed and it'd be a touch attack. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you look at the armor that they have, flat-footed, their armor is 25. That means they don't have their dodge or their dexterity. Well, their dexterity is given them, was that 25 would be 24, minus 10 is 14, plus 7 to this armor. Is coming from dodge alone, or from dexterity alone. Okay, so 34 drops down to 27. They're missing 2 more points from something else. That's probably like a dodge feat and something else. But the point is, that's a lot missing. Touch armor class is based off of dexterity. Well, if they're flat-footed, you can subtract at least 7, 8, or 9 points from this here. So if I shoot a ray spell at this guy, instead of his touch armor class being 24 because he's surprised, I'd probably be hitting with him a touch armor class of like, I don't know, 17, 15, something like that. Basically, soup's easy to hit them at this point, is my point. Notice, of course, their saving throws. They suck at fortitude saves. Their will saves are kind of bad, too. Reflexes are really, really good. Surprisingly good, no less, because their strength is good. Their dex is not that great. Their con's even actually a little bit better than their dex. So the fact that their fortitude is crap really means that they're a reflex-based character type, which, again, Fey makes sense. And of course they have damage reduction. Unless it's a magic weapon and a cold iron weapon, they have 15 damage reduction. Unless it's a good weapon, which usually I think that means holy weapon, they have 15 damage reduction as well. So again, they got all these immunities to fear, curse, death effects, combat maneuvers, being grappled, frightened, paralysis, entangled, all this other shit. And again, frightened is important because that's what I normally rely on for scaring the shit out of my bad guys. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's actually attack and show you what I mean. So I have movement 2 times. I can either move and then move again, double action, or I can move and then attack. So you see the first movement is delineated by the sphere around me, or the circle around me here, okay? So that big white area is how far I can move, right? So anywhere within that circle, reasonably speaking, I can get to. Now you could say, oh, well then go here. Well, I can't, because it will make me walk over here and around the curtain, or the wall here to get to that spot. And obviously I will not have enough movement to do that. But we're talking straight beeline. If I can make a straight beeline to that spot, I can get there. Well, I can clearly get to any of these guys. Okay, so just walk over there and attack one. Okay, fair enough. But if I were to use this ability, it's called charge. I can actually charge in combat if it didn't have the X on it. And it would give me a bonus to my swing. Now, it also lowers my armor class, just for that one combat round, but enough that it would be a penalty. And the bonus to my swing would, again, really emphasize my first swing tactic. You know, like running in and getting that first blow. So, again, I can't do that because, again, X means not available. So what do? Well, then just move up into here. Swing at somebody. Notice I'm engaging both of these guys at the same time, which means I'm going to be at a disadvantage. That's a penalty to my armor class, so much as that it'll be a bonus to their swing. This guy can do the same, but we'll see. Fortunately, I got good armor. Now, I want you to see this. Okay, so first, here was my attack. 29. Solid base attack bonus. It's never getting any higher unless, of course, I cast a spell. A base attack bonus BAB of 15 is as high as a Magus will get. Level 20. Highest one in the game is 20, by the way, for a level 20 character. That's like a fighter or a barbarian, something like that. So we're doing good. Solid strength. I got heroism bonus. My weapon is +2 weapon from it being a Bane weapon. It's a +5 weapon naturally, so that's why I said it's a 7 instead of a 5, because I'm adding the 2 together. I have weapon focus, or skill, if you will, in longsword, which is what I'm using, so a +1 there. And I also have a family heirloom. This is a trait, thanks to my Eldritch Arcana mod that I picked up at level 1. My family heirloom was a longsword that I practiced with, a magic longsword at the beginning of the game, something you can do with traits. Very cool. So I have a bonus to my swing because of that. Now, of course, I have a power attack on, which means I swing for extra damage. That -4 to my swing gives me like a +8 to my damage. But again, I'm countering it with all kinds of buffs. And notice there's also another -2. Not really sure what's causing that one. I'm sure there's something, I'm just not thinking about it. Maybe because I'm being flanked. That can't be it, though. That doesn't make sense. Oh, no, it's 2-weapon fighting. That's what it is. Yeah, there it is. I knew there was something. Okay, so now that's me attacking them, or in this case, him. And I hit him. And I hit him hard. A solid amount of damage on that shit. Fire damage, cold damage, electric damage, holy damage, and force damage. Just beating the shit out of this poor bastard. Pretty damn sweet, right? Now, because of my holy magic weapon of awesomeness, I was able to hit him and he didn't get any damage reduction. You didn't see anything saying less because or reduced because of this. So again, full damage with my first-handed, my main weapon in my hand, my longsword. Notice that I also get the force, divine, and holy damage on the second spike on the other part of the swing, which is kind of badass in my opinion. Clearly cheating, but I don't care. And then, look at the first guy that attacked me. That's this doofus coming over to me. First, I have blur on, so I have protection. 20% chance where they straight up miss me. Well, he passed the check, so he has a chance to hit me. 28 out of 64. Unless he gets a nat 20, he ain't hitting me. But I want you to see something. Circumstance bonus. Flanking. Little bastard, because I'm being flanked by at least one of his buddies, in this case both of his buddies, he gets a bonus to his swing. Because it's hard for me, if you will, to fend off those guys. That's how we do this in this game. And there's a way for you to get your flanking bonus up to a +4 with a feat called Outflank. But you would have to have a teammate near you that has that same feat, which you will see here in a moment. But that's a solid swing is my point. And again, nowhere near what he needs to hit my ass. So unless they start using ray spells, and even then I should be okay, I'm probably going to be fine. Now here's Eliza's turn. Okay, that's her, our tank, and she can charge. Nope. So she can just do their movement as well. And again, you can see she has even better movement than I do. Oh no, she has the same. Just not seeing the circle. There it is. Couldn't see the circle up here. There it is, the edge of her movement. So, what are we going to go? Well, we started swinging at that guy, but that doesn't mean anything. I say we just come right up here and start messing with this dude.
Strike as one.
Solid hit. And notice that she gets sneak attack damage. Why? The guy that she hit is this one here. See how I highlight them? And they get highlighted over here in the list of attack chain. Notice that this guy does not have the exclamation mark. Why is it that she's getting sneak attack damage and she's not invisible? No, but he is being flanked by one of her teammates, and that allows sneak attack potential. So again, if it's melee. So now that the both of us are flanking him, all of our other little sneak attackers, which includes Proto-Lich, Jubilost, and Octavia, can all sneak attack damage on this son of a bitch, or even this guy. Probably not this one, though, because he's in the back, and I'm not double flanking his ass. You have to have two people on top of him, basically. But I am definitely flanking both of these guys with Eliza and Dora. So that should be sneak attack potential to allow us to drop this and only this target probably in the first combat round. Jubilost, he is a bombardier, or sorry, alchemist. Normally I play a bombardier, but he is not. Bombardier is a subclass, a better, in my opinion, subclass in every regard of the alchemist. But potato. He's given to you for free. He's a gift. I hate to say it that way. He's an ally that joins you, basically. So he starts off as an alchemist, and I kept him as an alchemist, so whatever. He's a solid alchemist, level 20. Gets a lot of bombs, like all alchemists do, with the exception of the vivisectionists, which are the sneak attackers of the alchemist's clan, and they don't have bombs. Jubilost gets sneak attack damage because he has a trait that gives him 1d6 of sneak attack damage. That's it. That's all he has, is one little trick. But I'm moving him up here so that he can throw one bomb. Now I can make him throw more. With fast bombs on, which is off right now, but if I had that on and rapid shot on, I could throw like 5 or 6 bombs at this son of a bitch in one combat round. But it's not necessary. I have more than enough to take him out with the rest of the team, and I'm not particularly worried. And I'm getting good knockdown and decent splash damage. And again, like I said, he got some force damage. Why is he getting force? Sneak attack. And he's getting 12-6 force. He hit the guy twice. Same guy. Oh, no, it's not. One's this guy, one's that guy. Okay. I was about to say, what the hell? But this guy got hit for solid damage. And again, since he's the direct hit, he has a reflex save or he gets fall down. Notice that one guy reflex saved, one guy did not, and that's the guy that fell down. This guy here. And he took a decent amount of damage, as you can see, and is now prone. It's harder to hit him with ranged attacks now that he's prone. If it's a melee attack, it's even easier to hit him because he is prone. So again, there's a little caveat there that helps you and / harms you at the same time. And his turn. Again, doing their best to hit me. they got a pretty good chance, but man, that armor. And I'm just saying, this is really good armor. I have seen and heard of other builds that are better than this. They're like in the high 60s, maybe even to high 70 or more. So this is not that amazing. It's good. Don't kid yourself. I've built it on purpose this way, but it's not as great as other builds in the game. This one's still a solid tank, though. And again, it's one of the reasons I like this character. Here's Proto-Lich. Remember, she's our undead mercenary. She has a backstory of she was turned into an undead Proto-Lich, hence the name, to be a permanent slave. And we freed her because she was one of our buddies. That's part of the backstory between her and Dora. And then Eliza came along with that package, so to speak. More on that at the end of this gameplay. When I finally finish the game, I'll tell you this in my head. What I've envisioned was Dora's, Eliza's, and Proto-Lich's actual story. But not until the end. To make it tune. So Proto-Lich has an attack and a swift action still to do. Notice she has the ability to use this infinitely. Every combat round she's able of using a laser beam attack, which is basically the equivalent of Scorching Ray. It's an amazing spell. So what we do is we literally let her shoot the target. And sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack. But notice, while she did damage to them each time for strength damage, you gotta love that, we did not overcome their spell resistance. The son of a bitch. It's got a 27. So she wasn't able to actually hurt the guy. Don't do that. I also have the ability to do a swift action. And to do that, we want to use a quicken metamagic rod. In this case, we use the Rod of the Fearless. Any spell that she has that's level 3 or lower, she can throw out using the swift action. We have a lot of spells. And she has spells level 0 all the way through 6. Why do I say 0? Because cantrips are a thing in this game. And cantrips do not use up a charge. So we have a cantrip that will do damage. And sneak attack damage since we have flanking. And as such, it will hit this target if she hits it. And do a decent amount of acid damage because of the sneak attack potential. Why do I not worry about it? Because this is the only cantrip that she has that has no spell resistance associated with it. That's to our benefit. Yeah, there's some damage, that son of a bee. And he just lost 8 strength altogether. She hit him with 4 different sneak attacks. 3 from that first beam attack from here, here, and here. And for whatever reason, those still counted, as you see. -2 to strength, -2 to strength. It's all over the place. So she hit him 3 damn times and hit him for -6 strength. And then hit him for another -2 with his acid splash. So he's at -8 to his strength now. So that's a really screwed over character. And again, a solid hit. Octavia's turn. She's her other sneak attacker. And she's a Rogue 1. I'll just show it to you. Rogue 1, 9 Wizard, 10 Arcane Trickster. Because of the Arcane Trickster, she gets extra sneak attack die. And does pretty good for herself as well. So you can also guarantee that she gets sneak attack a variety of ways. One, being invisible, but these guys have true seeing, so that shouldn't do her any good. The other is this thing here. As an Arcane Trickster, she has this thing called Impromptu Sneak Attack, and this is amazeballs. This is the one that allows her to literally activate this, and then one combat round, because this is 4 rounds of use, in one combat round, any attack that she dishes out is sneak attack damage, period. Unless, of course, they're immune to sneak attack. That's always a possibility. These guys are clearly not. I don't need it because, again, we have flanking going on, so I don't need to activate that. What we're going to do is we're going to do that cantrip trick first. So here's our Quicken Metamagic Rod. Cantrip. Shut it back off so we don't waste it like a dummy. And now we have our regular attack. Well, what are we going to do for a regular attack? Well, again, I can use another cantrip again. How bad is this guy hurt? He's almost dead. I could hit him with a Scorching Ray. No, we just saw that didn't do any good. Battering Blast. Snowball. Here we go. Let's hope she hits him. Yeah, that's a nice shot, babe. Solid hit. She doesn't have the best swing. Her base attack bonus is 9. And she's done. She's level 20, so she's not getting any better. The reason it being 9 and not, say, like 10, because at level 20, your BAB should be, if it's the worst, it should be 10. If it's the middle, like mine, it should be 15. If it's the best, which is like a fighter or barbarian, it should be 20. So why is she plus 9 even though she's done at level 20? It's because she cross-dipped. She did a level of rogue and then 9 levels of wizard. If she was a 10 wizard and 10 something else, she'd have been fine. She would have finished with a solid plus 10, more likely than not. But again, it's because of the multi-dipping. And we had no control over that. They gave us a 1 level of rogue and 1 level of wizard when we got her for free as a companion. So it's not getting any better than that without the use of the spell, which we do have. But then she has that spell. She can't cast spells anymore. So we have to be careful with that. But again, it's a touch attack. See my point? He's prone, so it's harder to hit him. He has all this stuff going for him for dodge and whatnot, but he's got bewildering injury, and that came from probably her. So he has a penalty to his armor as a result, which is freaking awesome. And she has a penalty because she had rapid shot on, which is a stupid idea. I should shut that shit off. Matter of fact, she is... I'm going to put that in here. She is never going to use fight defensively. This will allow me to turn back on if I need it. That's for when you use bows, but she shouldn't have had a penalty here because she's not using a bow, but she has rapid shot on. It doesn't know any better. It says, oh, you want the penalty, huh? Whoops. So it didn't do her any good, didn't do extra damage because of it. But it still hit solidly. All she needed was a 7 to hit, and that's not easy either. It's a 20-sided die roll. She could have failed that check. Now, she still... I want to show you the damage on that snowball spell. 10d6 plus 11 because of some of the gear that she has, which is awesome. Solid cold damage, and then of course the sneak attack damage on top of that, just crippling this son of a bitch, and was enough to finish him off. So nicely done, Octavia. Tristan's turn. Up here, bro, by your teamies. Just to make sure that, you know, this little circle that he has here, this little yellow one is an aura that he has that's protecting our team. It's not necessary, but it is this one here, Protective Aura. We all have bonuses like this already, so it's no real help. But just in case. But he has his attack and his swift action. I do not think he has a swift or quicken magic rod, which is kind of a shame. Matter of fact, do I have any type? Was it fall under this category? Selective, persistence, rhyme. Nope. I'm not saying you never know when I have stuff just lounging around. I have so much on our characters right now as far as in their gear that I've yet to equip it. But what I'm going to do with him, I'm going to have him buff Dorraj because he's the next person to attack on the list. This will be round 2 here. This is a spell ability. He has a supernatural ability, Blessing of the Faithful. Short. Short means the range and the duration as well. See this one here? Blessing of the Faithful long. This is a solid increase, and you can shoot it farther. Hence the long versus short. So if I did this one, for example, I could shoot it farther away. But this one here is more than close enough to hit Dorraj. Hit Dorraj with it. And now Dorraj, with his attack action, Dorraj will get a +2 to not only his saves, but also to his armor, as well as his swing for 6 seconds, which starts now. So I do a 5-foot starter step just in case.
You should have run.
And then I'll get my full attack chain.
What a masterpiece!
Not bad. Did a critical miss in the last one. That one. It's okay. And I get 6 attacks. 3 with my main weapon, 3 with my offhand weapon. The reason I got all those was because I've invested in greater 2-weapon fighting. So 2-weapon fighting gets you another attack in your offhand. So 1 over here. Without a penalty, or with a minor penalty. Otherwise it's a massive penalty. So 2-weapon fighting is a minimum. Then you get improved 2-weapon fighting, and that gives you another attack over here, so 1 goes up to 2 attacks in a combat round. Then if you manage to get all the way to greater 2-weapon fighting, you get 3. So I got 3 and 3. If I had hasten on, it would be 4 and 3. It'd be amazing attack chain. And again, pretty good with 6 attacks, but 7 would clearly be better. Oh, you dickhead. Oh, that was us attacking him. Oh, good. Thought that was him attacking us. I'm like, you bastard. I don't know what triggered that, but he made an attack of opportunity. Eliza did, and then I followed up with that as well, which is amazing. So now here's Eliza's turn. We'll turn the 5-foot starter step on for her so she gets her full attack chain. And that's the name of that tune. Easy peasy pumpkin squeezy. Now I know I'm talking a lot. I do apologize for that, but I'm doing it on purpose for those that don't watch all my videos. You saw... Hey, your Highness, come over here. Got all that useful stuff lying around. What? Who the hell is that? Akiros Insmort. Oh!
I'm not afraid.
Oh, we got Primal Owl Bears. Nothing fancy. And again, this start of combat again. Notice again, there's no surprise. It's just the start of round 1. And it really will say round 1 if it is the start of the combat. If it's a surprise round, it will not say round 1 started. Just so we're clear. Notice that my initiative, I always roll a nat 20, or sorry, I have a 20 here. No, sorry, a 20 here. I always roll a nat 20. That's another feature of the Sword Saint at level 20. Or actually, take that back, level 19. Right here. I automatically roll a natural 20 every time. So if I go at least 19 levels into Sword Saint, and obviously 20 is right there, you might as well go 20, but there's reasons not to. But this is a solid reason to go 19. Because that's amazing. So your initiative is modified by your dexterity normally, and then your roll. So I should have a 20 plus 7. Well, why do I have a 20 and a 20? Because I also have another feature in here that gives me my intelligence modifier as well. So 7 and 13 is 20. So I get a 20 and 20. I'm guaranteed 40, is my point. That's a solid character. Now again, can I charge? I can. And of course crit misses doesn't mean anything, because that means you're screwed. But I wanted to show you the +2 from the charge. See that? But it doesn't do anything if you're rolling that 1. And the sad part is, that was enough for me to actually hit the guy. 31 and 1 would have been a 32. He had a 24 armor because he's flat-footed. That should have hit, but again, because of the way the game is played, a nat 20 is a guaranteed hit, a nat 1 is a guaranteed miss. So, it's what it is. I'm just going to have her run over and smack him. That's good enough, because she don't need the bonus to her swing. She's still hitting him pretty hard, and she was able to intimidate him. See that? So because she intimidates him, and I can do the same thing when I hit him, I have to have power attack on, so does she. But if we intimidate them, you see this little glowing aura, the little pulsing shaded aura, that means they're scared in some way, shape, or form. And that softens the character up for a lot of things. Like my character's attacks will be easier to hit this target from now on because of this scared effect. Jubilos's turn. We're just going to move him over here. I'm going to throw one bomb on that fool right there. Get the sneak attack, might as well. And knocked it down. Nice. Got a lot of hit points, not surprising. Octavia's turn. Should come over here next to Juby. We're going to do your cantrip trick first, so we don't mess it up. Nice sneak attack damage. Very, very nice. So we don't have to worry about spell resistance on these guys. I think I'm going to cast another spell on this one. Notice that if I highlight this guy, he doesn't have the exclamation mark. If I highlight this one, he does. This one is not attacked yet, and therefore, since it's the start of the combat, he is flat-footed, and therefore susceptible to sneak attack. Well, because Octavia is an arcane trickster, anytime that she can cast a spell that could hit a target for damage, if they are susceptible to sneak attack, it will do sneak attack damage. So, for instance, these are normal sneak attack spells, ray spells, touch attacks, ones that there's a to-hit check. Well, Magic Missile doesn't have a to-hit check. It's an auto-hit spell. But because of her arcane trickster, she can do sneak attack damage on one of those little missiles. See that 36 there? It's all force damage, baby. And that was a beautiful, beautiful hit. 8d6 plus 8. Very nicely done. And again, guaranteed sneak attack damage. Which is why we did that. Tristan, I'm going to pull him up here, and I'm not going to have him buff me this time. What I'm going to have him do is weaken this guy with a Bone Shaker. Solid damaging auto-hit spell. Because I want to make sure to take out one of them, excuse me, before the other one has a chance to really get on our case. Why? Because if they both stand up and flank, say, Eliza, they'll have a bonus to swing. And these guys, I guarantee you, have a really good swing. Because they're strong as shit. Yeah, 29. Now, of course, she has really good armor, so she still should be okay. But I don't want to give them any advantage. And that's my point. So, what we're going to do here. We have our cantrips ready to rock and roll. Might as well do that. And lower his strength every time we do sneak attack with this particular character. One of the reasons I like her. Another thing we can do is let's just do another one. There you go. Another -2 to strength. And again, solid damage. Sneak attack damage both times. 76 plus 7. She's not as good as a sneak attacker as Octavia, but she's pretty damn close. And with a spell like Sense Vitals on, she could get really, really good. So, just saying. Now, did they get... They don't get the flanking bonus because this character is down on his ass. See that? That's to our benefit. So it gives us a chance. It's now a 5-foot stutter step, and wail on the one on the ground. Ooh, that was a nice crit. Double crits, man. Look at that shit. 209. Twice. Fuck, man. Did brutal damage. And again, one of the reasons I love this sword scene so much. Liza's turn, 5-foot stutter step and have her flank him. Now she'll get sneak attack damage if she gets. Because she has 1 die of sneak attack damage. Not a stellar amount, I'll grant you. It came from a trait. It sadly is a trait I did not get on Dora. I kind of miss it. Because quite frankly, even if it's 1d6, you'd be surprised how good 1d6 is early on in the game. And it's actually not even just 1d6, it's 1d6 plus 1. It's kind of weird. Any die that you have, once you have that trait, do a quick save here. Every die you have gets an extra point to it. So when you saw, let me roll back here, those acid flashes, and you saw 76 plus 7, that's what the 7 came from, because of her trait. So she has 66 normally, because of her classes and feats and stuff. So she has 66 normally. So the 1d6 extra came from a trait called Child of the Streets, I believe. So that's 76. But it does more than that. It gives you another point of damage per die. So 76 plus 7. Not 76 plus 1, 76 plus 7. And again, that's important. Why? Because if I cast this spell, Sense Vitals, that gives her more sneak attack die. Like 5 more. Best case scenario, which in this case she has access to all 5. So that could be a 12d6 plus 12 per sneak attack. That's pretty damn big. And again, she could be even better than that. She has the same spell right there. So again, there's reasons to keep track of stuff like that. Thought we opened up something.
I'm there.
That was right up here. I saw something. Crystal. Haha. We'll just pick up Radiant Protection. Radiant Protection plus 5, that's not bad.
In due time.
Done and done.
Oh, now we're talking. Greater Quick and Magic Rod. I know who could use that. Hey, Tristan. Newest to oldest. And hell, he's got a greater persistent. I'm going to give this, No. Nope. Yeah, I guess I'm giving that one to Tristan as well. He has that one already, but I will give him another. Why not? The Persistent. This is one, again, because of the mod that I have access to a lot more meta magic feats than you guys do, as well as meta magic rods. Now, you have access to the normal ones. Let me explain what I mean by normal ones. For meta magic, when you make a spell book, if you have meta magic, you can empower your spells in a way that make them better or different. For example, Tristan has the ability to extend spells, double the duration. That's what the little pips up here mean. Some can be extended, some can also be intensified. That's why you see some that have 2 pips. Some have a pip that can't be extended, like, let's see if I can find an example. Like Fireball can't be extended because it's an instantaneous effect, but it can be intensified, which means that 10d6 damage would get higher. So that's why he has those 2 meta magics. Now, the intensified one was not one that is available in your version of the game, the vanilla version. This is because of that mod, hence the reason it's white instead of having a cool little symbol. The ones that the normal symbols, you'll have things like Reach, Quicken, Extend, Empower, Maximize, and I'm sure I'm missing something in there, but at least those 5, okay? And the mod that I have other ones like, again, Intensified, I have Persistent, I have Rhyme, that's R-I-M-E, it's an amazing one. If you're doing cold spells, for instance, that's what it keys off of. There's ones that do extra force damage, or no, they do knockdown with force damage. Like Magic Missile can be a spell that can now knock them on their ass if you use the specific meta magic feat. So again, we have access to them in this game now because of my mod that I'm using. If you didn't, you won't have access to as many. The modder was nice enough to find places in the game where they give you your version of a meta magic rod. In this case, in that box, the only thing you will find will be a greater quicken meta magic rod. Okay, it's good. Now, the greater persistent meta magic rod was tied to it. What does that mean? The modder said anywhere you see a quicken meta magic rod, give them a persistent one of the same strength. So there's the lesser versions, the normal version, which will just say quicken meta magic rod, and then the biggest version, which is the ones you're seeing now, the greater quicken meta magic rod, or the greater persistent meta magic rod. And again, that's to our benefit that the modder was kind enough to put that shit in there. Otherwise, you would never have access to these rods. Now, what does persistent do, though? Let's actually talk about this real quick. I don't use it, but we have them, and we probably should use it. Basically, all this is if you played 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, for instance, there is a effect in the game that they call advantage and disadvantage. Okay, advantage is you do some sort of die roll, whether it's a save or a swing of your weapon or whatever. If you have advantage, you roll twice, take the best roll. Now that may mean you miss twice, so what? But at the very least you had a better chance to hit. That's why it's advantage. Disadvantage is the exact opposite. What does that mean? You still roll twice, you take the worst of the two. Persistent metamagic rods and persistent metamagic trait in general is giving you advantage on your spells. What does that mean? They make a saving throw, they roll twice, and they take the worst outcome. Okay, so it's not advantage, I guess. It's we're giving them disadvantage, the bad guys that are saving against it. There you go. That makes more sense. But again, I've yet to use it, and again, there's really no way for us to know that it's working. That's the downside. I want to show you what I mean by that. We'll use it on purpose. So we have the Laura Nusky and Akiris Insmort. Let's talk to these people just in case there's something to say. River Blades are at your service, Your Highness. I can hardly believe our fortress stood somewhere nearby. Cressel, how are we supposed to return to peaceful life after this? At least I'm grateful Svetlana doesn't see this. Yeah, that's her sister, Svetlana. Alright, cool. Saving that. Let's show you that persistent. And the reason I say that we can't prove that it works is because in the combat log, if I remember correctly, anyway, it shows you their saving throw, but it doesn't show you that they made 2. So there's really no way to verify that it's working as intended. So let's trust. Oh, he's fast. He's pissy too. Notice that these bastards were able to get up on me. Look at that. They were in the surprise round. See that? And how do I know that? Because here's round 1. See that? And again, I am first in round 1. But I wasn't first or second or even third in the surprise round. That's not good. There is a trait that can make sure that you're in the surprise round. Now again, you will still roll and you will fall somewhere high or low on that totem pole, but again, you will at least get a chance to do something. I did not grab that trait. Highly recommend you look into it though, because it does work and it is pretty damn cool. Now let's get into it. Here's Dora. We're buffed up still. 5 foot stutter step, and I can probably get into this guy's face. Yeah. Just his ass. What you get for stepping to me, bitch. And they went up against Eliza, which was a bad idea. Now the archers are a problem, because the archers in this game lately have been doing like death effect abilities, and that's not cool. I'm going to delay. Here's another action you can do here. Delay Proto-Lich past, say, Eliza. Oof. And you may be like, well, that wasted your turn. You could have taken that guy out. No, we couldn't have. He had full health. We would have had to use like an instant death spell to be able to kill that son of a bitch, and there's no guarantee that that would have even worked. I'm going to move Octavia slightly askew. And I'm going to have her use her cantrip trick, because I think she can flank, or Eliza is flanking this guy. But I don't know that for a fact. Aha, nice. Okay, we shut that off. And for our attack, I'm going to use these up as well. These are Telekinetic Fist ability. It's a spell-like ability that she has. Can do sneak attack damage because there is a die roll, a check, to see if she hits them. It's a touch attack, a ray spell, so to speak. That she gets extra number of charges a day. This is because she is a transmuter specialist as a wizard. That's one of their innate features. Notice these as well. She has a bonus to her constitution or her dexterity or her strength, and a whim's notice she can buff any one of those 3. It's always on con right now. Initially it's on dexterity usually for your character, and the reason we're buffing your con is, as you can see here, it probably would have brought it up like a +2, and that's it. So without the belt that she has currently, it would have been a 10 for her con stat instead of a 14. That's not great, but it was an 8. So again, better than 8. So that's why it's on. At this point, it's useless. It doesn't stack with the belt, so it's a garbage idea. And honestly, I think that's a mistake. I really don't think that should have been an enhancement. That's just me. As a DM, I would have ruled that, no, that's not an enhancement. That's an innate ability, in my opinion, because it is an innate ability for any wizard that is a transmuter. So I would allow it to stack. And it's not game-breaking. It's only a maximum of +5. At the end, it's 2 of your abilities would get it. And again, that's only if she would have went Wizard 1 through 20. She did not. She went Wizard 9, Rogue 1, Arcane Trickster 10. So she wasn't going to finish with that +5. She's not even at a good number. She's at like a +2. But still, it would have been a boon to have it. So I would have erred on the side of giving it to the player. Whatever. Eliza's turn. Now she has this cool ability called Greater Bane Weapon. It's not the same as my Bane Weapon in that hers is a toggle, and it's 18 rounds. And again, it's not continuous use. I mean, you can shut it off, turn it back on as you need, and it shuts off after combat's over, which is beautiful. But you turn it on and it immediately uses up a charge. You see that? So don't just turn it on, shut it off, turn it on, shut it off. Because I got to use up every charge right now just by clicky, 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 being a dumbass. Turn it on, leave it on. 5-foot stutter step, and wail on this bastard. You'll see that she's getting force damage with her hits. And a better chance to hit as well. +2 better to swing because it's a Bane weapon. Plus 4d6 of damage on a hit because it's a greater Bane weapon. So that's a solid oof. And again, for the swing, you'll see that you get a +2 right here. And the weapon itself is a +4 weapon. So again, solid damage. Now that she's done with her combat round, if you want, you can shut it right back off. Turn it back on next combat round. Doesn't take anything but to activate it. It's like a innate ability. So it's not even a swift action. It doesn't take anything to activate it. Proto Lich. Let's have her move to here. Again, we can get sneak attack on this prick. So we're going to do the beam, right? Ooh, one got through. He was able to kill him, and he took enough strength damage as well, so -6 to his strength, but he died from one sneaking by, and that's only because she overcame his spell resistance. Pure dumb luck. Nat 20, Jesus. So yeah, needed that. Now we do the cantrip, and we use the one that doesn't matter. Of course, you got to hit with it. You've lost your turn. You come over here and throw one bomb in that scout. Knock him on the butt. Nah, I made it safe. It's okay. Tristan's turn. Now, Tristan, I wanted to show you that meta magic, right? As soon as you equip a rod, I should point that out too. The moment you equip a rod on somebody, it automatically assumes you want the rod to be gone. That is a mistake. So make sure to shut that shit off. But we are going to use it for this reason. I want to show you again that it does have a check, but you won't notice it in the combat log, as far as I remember, unless I'm remembering wrong. So there is a save. You need to use a spell that has a save, and make sure your meta magic rod is on. And this one is beautiful. It's level 9 spells on down, which means any spell he has will basically, as long as it has a saving throw associated with it, it should work. What does that mean, though? Again, he'll save twice, take the worst result, but again, it will not show you that he had the 2 different rolls, I don't think. But you'll notice something. He did full damage, and he did fail his check. Saving throw result, 19 rolled a 1. He needed a 20. He had an 18. He needed to pass a 20, so he needed a 2 or better. So this was the only way for him to straight up fail this, was to roll a nat 1. Now maybe he'll always roll a nat 1, so maybe we'll check that again on the next bad guy. Because maybe that's what it does. Instead of giving it 2 choices, where they roll twice, maybe it just says, you know what, screw you, you're just going to always roll a 1. Which would be awesome. I think that would be cheating, but we'll find out. Door's turn, 5-foot stutter step, kill this fool. Wow, that was we barely hit that guy. And we hit him with the white flare. This is the other offhand weapon I'm using. It's a dagger. And this particular dagger ignores ignores armor class and shield armor class. So if he's wearing like plate mail or leather armor or has a buckler on or whatever, he's not getting any benefit from it. So his armor class is 40. How do I know that? Spec the doofus. What's his armor classes? 36, 28, 26. Why has he got 40 then? You lying to me, game. You're lying to me. You said it's a 36 and he's got a 40. Oh, he's got... Probably didn't take into account his combat expertise. So he's probably doesn't have any armor at all. So that weapon of mine is not really benefiting me in a real significant way on this target. That's okay. At least I was able to hit him. Good old hornhead up here needs to straight up die. Tavia, and delay your turn past Eliza. Just again so that we can make sure that she's flanking
Do
him.
not hold back.
So we can get sneak attacks with our three sneak attackers. Well, 4 if you count Eliza, I suppose. Okay. Tavia's turn. Turn just the tiniest bit this way because I want to get closer to that jackass. Right. It's cantrip time. Straight up miss. Now I can still shoot with the same cantrip because again I have another action. I managed to hit him. Alright, I'll take it. Proto's turn. I want you to do the beam. Hey, you got him twice, no less. And cantrip. Nice. Almost dead. Jubilat should be able to finish it off at this point. Blow him up, Juby. Oh, Jubilat. What the hell was that lame ass throw? He damn near hit Eliza. Actually, he has a feat that allows him to not damage our team. Another reason you want to be real careful with an alchemist build with those bombs. You get this one here, precise bomb at level 2. If you do, I highly recommend it. The reason I say I like Grenadier, Grenadiers are a subclass of alchemists. They get this for free. They get some other stuff taken away from them, but getting that for free is definitely worth, in my opinion. And again, they get it at level 2 as well. So it's what it is, but I'd definitely rather have it than not. I'm going to move Jubilat over here. He is actually pretty damn beefy when it comes to taking a beating. And his armor's not that great, but compared to some of these other characters, he's not that bad either. Tristan, come all the way here. Shall we do that trick again? Yeah, the magic rods. Why not? Let's find out if it gives that one again. Oh my God, it might be, guys. He's rolling that one every time. If that's what that does, then I've been harshly misjudging that magic rod. Holy shit. Well, let's back him up to here now. Dorraj's turn. Now, we got a bad guy way the hell over here. Now, that doesn't mean he's the only bad guy in the area, but I can barely get to him. I'm going to charge on purpose. And this is why you want to be up in an archer's face. If they don't have a specific feat that allows them to shoot in melee combat, they get attacks of opportunity against them. Ooh, looks like we did find another one. And that's our barrier up here. The attacks of opportunity can be avoided if you have point-blank master for whatever ranged weapon you're using. And that means longbow, short bow, shurikens, which I don't think are in the game, but I know they have other stuff like that. No, there is shurikens in the game. There's darts in the game. There's javelins. That's what Jubilat is using. There's... what else? There's others I just can't think of them. Oh, like throwing axes, sling staffs, slings. There's a variety of ranged weapons. Ray spells are considered ranged weapons as far as the game is concerned. And again, if he were to try to shoot us with a ray spell, attack of opportunity on his ass. Unless he has point-blank master for rays. That's his benefit, right? So it's really, really nice that they've added that to this game, in my opinion. Let's get Octavia up here. Notice I don't have to have her move too far. She just has to be in range of her ray spells. We're going to use our Meta-Magic trick. No joy. Do it again. No joy. Needs a 9. And that's not impossible on a 20-sided die roll, but she's rolled poorly. It's okay. It ain't her fault. She's not the best attacker at that +9 BAB. But you take in someone here that's like a +14 BAB. Like her, she's about to be +15. When she finally levels up, she'll be +15. Because we're going to take her straight Eldritch Scoundrel 20. She's doing me just as good as an attacker as I am. And that's going to be amazing. But that +15, or in this case +14, that's a big move compared to her +9. Just saying. So we're going to do our rays, of course. And hit them twice and get sneak attack damage on both of them. And now we're using our rod for cantrip. Nice. And he's about toast. Chibi, can you finish him off? Probably.
A clever ploy.
Yes, he can.